Okay, this is part of our series of what's new with the Samsung S9 for people that have had Android devices in the past. This one's the desktop. Not a whole lot new here, but we're going to go through a couple of things. The first is, of course, you notice at the bottom that the buttons, the physical buttons are gone. The virtual buttons that are here perform the same tasks as always. The button on the left here, that is your task manager. This is your home button, and that's your back button. Pretty self-explanatory. However, if you press and hold the home button now, you'll get the Google Assistant. So I can say things like, take me to www.commodore.ca. Okay, so you get the idea? You'll notice that there's no apps button anymore. Down at the bottom right here, there used to be a multi-dotted button that would take you to your apps. You don't need that anymore. Now you just put your finger anywhere in the middle of the screen and swipe up or swipe down. I'm just going to do that. And it will take you to your apps. By the way, there is a setting that turns that back on, but you don't need it. Just swipe up or swipe down. If you swipe from the top of the screen down, you'll get your settings, notifications, and alerts. Nothing's particularly shocking there. Something that is very useful is called App Edge. If you'll notice this little white bar here, if I swipe that on the edge in, oops, there we go, I will get App Edge. Now I can click Edit and go through and change these icons around. I can also keep swiping left or right to get more of them. Here I can add other icons to it, but you can see here I can click the cog, and these are other edges that I can get, which, you know, may be handy. They're not handy for me. Most of them I've been through them, but they may be handy for you. I really like the App Edge because here is where I keep my weird lesser used things. So you can see here I have a number of rewards cards, PC Optimum, Air Miles, Cineplex, things like that, that I need, you know, enough, frequently enough, but I don't want to have them cluttering up my desktop. So if I swipe the other direction from the left side of the screen to the right on the edge, Bixby will come up. And Bixby is just a mobile assistant. Bixby is intended to manage the phone and run the phone, and less so to go out to the internet and get you information. I'm not going to show you Bixby. I'm not a big fan of it. It's ready, I think it's at version 1, but I'd really like it to get to version 2 or 3. So, but you can play with it. It's nice. There's an always-on feature you should be aware of that we're going to show you here. So I'm going to swipe down from the top and swipe down again. I could do that with 2 fingers, but I'm just going to do it with 1 to show you how I did it. We're going to go over this again in a few minutes in our settings video, but I wanted to explain it here. So this always on setting at the top, what it does is keep the screen on in sort of a low power mode. So there's no colors, it's just a little bit of light, and basically it becomes a clock. So it's really handy if you're traveling. It's on by default. I turn it off because I want to save the electricity. Okay, if you want to modify the background or you add widgets, it's easy enough to do. Press and hold the desktop anywhere in a blank space, as I just did, and you'll see you get your wallpapers, themes, widgets, and home screens. The widgets, by the way, what they are is just active applications. So I've got a couple of widgets that are on my desktop here. I'm going to click back and show them to you. One's a CNN one, one's a Flipboard one. I don't want the CNN one right now, so I'm going to press and hold it. This is another slight change from previous versions. Just press and hold it, and I can select Remove from Home Screen. If it was an application that I could get rid of completely, I can actually uninstall it. So we're here, Bon App. That's an app that I have. And say I wanted to get rid of it, I could actually press and hold it, and then click Uninstall. I'm not actually going to do that, but I could. Okay, the last thing I think I'll show you here is that you can pin those buttons at the bottom, these buttons along the bottom here. You can pin them to stay. Okay, I'm just going to pick this randomly. Okay, let's go into NFC Tools. You don't have to care what the tool is. And down at the bottom right here, you'll see there's a dot. If you press and hold that, it will tell you that this bar at the bottom will stay on as opposed to coming and going. Not a big deal, but if people wonder what that is, then now you know. All right, so now we're going to go on to, in our next video, we're going to go on to settings, which is, I think, more interesting than the desktop changes.